Okay, time for the warm-up. All right, you've done the 2-minute jog or 2 minutes on the bike, and then you can just follow along with the videos for all of these drills that might be brand new to you. I'm also taking separate videos of each drill if you just want to click to find the specific exercise. This is the second variation of the 90-90 hip lift. Okay, so you set up with your hips at 90 degrees, your knees at 90 degrees, feet up on the wall. Okay, something underneath your head, just so there's not too much strain on the neck. Okay, and first thing you're going to do is really grip into the wall with your toes. Okay, we want to be strong through the arches of our feet and squeezing into a yoga block between your knees. Okay, going to take a big forceful exhale to force all of the air out of your stomach. This makes sure that the bottom or deep core muscles get activated. Okay, once that big exhale has been completed, okay, you're just going to tuck your hips just a little bit off the floor. Imagine you're trying to slide a piece of paper underneath your hips, so you have to pull with your hamstrings, so just tuck your hips a tiny bit off the floor. Holding that position, you're going to practice just taking big deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Okay, trying for a big 10-second exhale. This is just us practicing getting some core activation. Okay, holding a solid position, strong through the feet, gently squeezing into the yoga block, chins tucked back, big deep breaths. Next, from that same 90-90 position, right, feet shoulder width apart, toes straight up and down, yoga block between your knees, okay, chins tucked, forceful exhale, hips up just a little bit. Then we're practicing working the ankle, okay, the tib anterior, super important. So we're pushing up into a calf raise, then tucking your toes under, trying to close that angle of your shin as much as possible, pulling your foot up as much as you can. Okay, you hold that for a couple seconds, then switch back into your calf raise and go back and forth. Okay, it's important that you try to curl your toes under as you're pulling up, right, instead of just pulling your toes towards your knee, all right, because that gets different muscles working than what we want. Okay, just practicing on both sides. Calf raise, trying to curl your toes under and squeeze up. That can be really tough, especially for those of you who've had ankle sprains. You might find it really tough on one leg. That's me. After tons and tons of ankle sprains on the right, it's very hard to pull up on that right foot. Then from the same position, the 90-90, okay, hips are up. We're just going to bring one leg off the wall. Okay, so my right leg is still gripped in. It's nice and solid. It's not going to move at all. And then through the left hip, I'm just going to practice rotating while squeezing into the yoga block. Okay, really trying to keep my hips level and just rotate at the femur. I think when you rotate in, you really want to squeeze into the block. This is a slow, controlled motion, just trying to get you lots of control through the hip. Okay, same drill, just from the top, just so you could see what's going on from a different angle, just rotating at the femur. Okay, as much as you can, not trying to initiate the motion through the ankle. It's pretty tempting to rotate almost entirely just through the ankle, but we are trying to use the hip, so we're rotating the femur in its socket, rotating in and out as much as you can while just gently squeezing into the yoga block. Okay, hips stay level the entire time. This warm-up drill is the side lying clams. Okay, it's to still get you ready for your squatting, for jumping, okay, and really emphasizing your hip external rotator muscles. All right, so you need a mini band for this. Okay, you're putting it above your knees. I'm going to use a yoga block just as a pillow for my head. Don't necessarily need one. You can just rest on your arm. Okay, you're going to get set up similar to the 90-90 hip lift, but now on your side, so you want a nice flat back. Okay, you want your hips at 90 degrees, your knees at 90 degrees. Your bottom foot's just going to be 6 inches off the floor. For me, it's easy. I just put it above the baseboard. Okay, and then your top leg is going to be another foot above that. All right, you're going to get your belly nice and tight with a forceful exhale, just like we were practicing before. Okay, and then you're just going to squeeze up against the band, making sure that your feet stay gripped into the wall, especially on that top leg, okay? Really gripping in with your big toe, your little toe, and your heel, So you're strong through the arch of your foot, your belly's tight because of that forceful exhale, then you're squeezing up against the band and holding. Okay, I like to reach my top arm out just to make sure I'm getting a little bit of extra engagement and pressing into the floor, but it's more about that big deep breaths while squeezing up on the band for 3 seconds. Next, we're getting into our shoulder prep. Okay, so we're going to practice some scapular protractions and retractions with a stable base in a quadruped position, and then we'll get into a little bit more dynamic, okay, motion from the same position. We're getting on all fours. I like the yoga block between my knees just because we've been practicing that with the 90-90 hip lift, so that's my initial setup. I take that forceful exhale. Yeah, my feet are shoulder width apart. Okay, trying to see my knees and my hips still at about 90 degrees, just like when we were on our backs with our feet up against the wall. Okay, my elbows are staying locked out, and then I'm just going to practice sliding my shoulder blades. Okay, I'm just trying to squeeze them behind my back, make them touch, and then spread them as far apart as I can without any motion in my lower back. Okay, that's important. I'm trying to teach the shoulders to move separately from the lower back, which a lot of people have a hard time with. The tendency is for the back to arch. Okay, after you get comfortable with that and you've done your reps, you're trying for the same thing, but now with your knees elevated. Okay, you can't see the yoga block here, but I am still squeezing it between my legs, right? Hips are at 90, knees are at 90, my belly's nice and tight, elbows are locked out, sliding the shoulder blades back and forth. They pinch behind my back and they spread as far as they can. Okay, we want great control over our shoulders. Next, we make things a little bit more dynamic, so we're getting into that same initial position, the quadruped with the knees elevated, trying to keep a nice flat back, okay, and into the bear crawl, so just slowly moving forwards, right, arms and legs working together. You can imagine you're trying to balance a glass of water on your back, okay, no twisting through the hips, as best you can. It's tough, I struggle, especially when I'm going backwards. Okay, take it slow. Good, after you've gone forwards and backwards, we're going to go side to side. Again, same initial position. Imagine you have that glass of water on your back, so no twisting through the hips. Slowly moving side to side. Remember to tuck your chin, keep everything flat, keep it locked in. Keep working side to side. Okay, time to put it all together into something a bit more dynamic, more related to sport. Okay, practicing a squat pattern. Alright, this time I'm going to hold a kettlebell or a dumbbell in front of my body. Okay, I'm going to get into that same tuck position, that forceful exhale. My hips are just a little bit tucked under. Okay, I'm spreading my shoulder blades apart like when we were practicing our shoulder drills. Okay, holding the weight up high and then into a squat. Okay, I'm going to hold it at the bottom so I can practice opening up my hips, right, driving them out. Okay, strong through my feet in the floor, holding at the bottom for 5 seconds before I stand back up. The last piece is just focusing on having a flat back. Okay, this is why we practice so many drills on our back, right, back against the floor, so we can get a feeling for what having a flat back is like. Now that feedback is gone, but we still want to go chest up nice and high. Imagine you have a stick that's touching your butt, touching your upper back, and touching your head. Okay, you don't want any of those to come out of contact, any of those points to come out of contact with the stick. Okay, nice flat back as you're dropping down into your squat. No rounding forward. Okay, you can see it again just from the front. Alright, so really trying to spread those knees out, right? Shooting them forward over your toes while keeping them out over top of your feet. Okay, we don't want our knees dipping in. Right, imagine that side lying clam with the band around your knees. Okay, you're pushing out on that band. Your chest stays up nice and high, back is super flat, okay, not letting it round. That's it, okay, you're done with the warm-up. Good work. That should have taken about 15 minutes and you are ready to move on to your specific exercise program, okay? So go take a look, check that out, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks.